we are starting with our unit 4 of banking. And unit 4 is all about checks. We are going to discuss how checks and what different types of checks we have, what are checks, how they are dealt in. All these details we are going to discuss in this unit. So, to start with, let's first understand the meaning or the concept of check. So, what is check? Check is a check is a paper printed and issued by a banker. Means if you see this picture, it is just a piece of paper, right? It's a piece of paper where something is already printed. Who's issuing it? A banker or a bank is issuing this piece of paper. Normally issued in the form of booklet containing 10 leaves, 20 leaves, etc. Okay. So when you have account in a bank, okay, and you through a several ways of withdrawing your money or to transfer your money, there are several ways to do it. Out of all these ways, there is one possible way, that is through checks. So, of course, bank is not going to give you one leaf. This is known as a leaf. Okay, this one piece of paper is known as leaf. Bank is not going to give you one leaf. What you get? You get a booklet. You get a booklet where ranging from 10 leaves to 20 leaves or so on, you get in a particular book. That book is known as check. Okay, so this is how a proper check looks like, where you see a bank's name, okay, where the account holder has, I mean, a person has an account, okay, then the address of the bank, okay, the date of issue, which date it is issued, okay, as you can see, this is issued when? This is issued on 1st of January 2020. Then here, pay, whom to pay, how much amount in words and then in figures. Then we have the account number of the account holder, okay, and then uh, signature of that person, okay, who's giving the money. Now here it is Deepak Das, and then there is a MICR number. This number is known as MICR. Okay, so this is how a normal check looks like. Now let's go through some more details of it. It is used to withdraw money for personal use or to make trade payments or otherwise in favor of another person. So what is saying? What's the main purpose of a check? To withdraw money. The first thing is that if you are the account holder, you have an account in bank and you want to withdraw your money, so you can do it using your check, okay? Or to make trade payments, or if you want to make payments for the trade, like you have bought something from someone and you want to make a payment, you can do it through check. You can give a check to them mentioning the amount and then you can give it. They can go to bank and get the money, or otherwise in favor of another person. If you're not want to do a, I mean, don't want to make a trade payment, but you want to still give money to someone, still you can give it through a check. Okay, so what are the main purpose of having a check? To withdraw money, to make trade payment, or to pay someone anyway. So, according to Section 6 of a Negotiable Instrument Act 1881, check is a check is a negotiable instrument. Okay. So, check comes under what? Check comes under Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. So, what does this act defines a check as? A check is a bill of exchange. A check is a bill of exchange drawn on a specified banker. It is drawn on a specified banker. Okay, like if you go through the previous example, which bank it is drawn on? State Bank of India. Okay, so a check is a bill of exchange drawn on a specified banker and not expressed to be payable otherwise than the demand. Means to whom you want to pay and when, then only the payment can be done. So check is a bill of exchange which facilitates what? Which facilitates payment on demand by a specified bank. Okay. So it tells what? It is a bill of exchange drawn on a specified banker. Okay. And to be payable on demand. Now, to say, as I said, a check is a negotiable instrument. Negotiable means what? Transferable. Negotiable means transferable. Means a check can be transferred from one person to another and so on. That means what? A check given to the name of one person can be transferred to the ownership of the another person by merely putting a signature on the back side of the check. Okay. So we have two sides of the check. One side where all the details are there: bank, date, signature, pay, amount, then account number, then MICR, right? So one side a lot of information goes in and other side is blank. The back side of the check is blank. So how the ownership can be transferred? How a a check can be transferred? Okay, by merely putting a signature on the back side of the check. Means here the name and signature can be put. If it transferred for the another name and signature, another name and signature. So why it has to be transferred? Was the purpose of it? Now when trade happens, there are not one or two person involved. There are multiple person involved. Okay. So this person has to give some money to this person. This person also has to give money to someone. Like this, there is a chain. Okay. A has to give something to B has to give something to C has to give something to D to E. A issued a check for B. Okay. So B, instead of encashing it, transferred this to or passed on the check to C. That directly that money can go to C. C again has to pay something to D. So C again transferred it to D. D also did it for E. So when this check is being transferred, it is known as, it is negotiable. Okay, it is transferable. The second owner can also transfer it to a third person by putting his signature below the signature of the first owner. As I told, signature can come one by one, and the check can be transferred from one person to another, another person to third person. Like that, it can keep on going. Because of this transferability, it is known as negotiable instrument. Okay. So, because of its transferability, we call it negotiable instrument. So, check is an instrument. If we have to put it in concise way, what we have learned till now, we can say check is an instrument in writing. Okay, check is in writing. You have seen that things are printed, few things are written in hand. So, it is an instrument in writing. It cannot be oral. It cannot be oral. Writing containing an unconditional order. Nowhere any kind of condition is put. It is an unconditional order. Okay. Addressed to a banker. Addressed to whom? Addressed to a banker. Okay. Signed by the person who has deposited the money with the banker. Now, let's understand. Let's say there is one bank, SDFC. Okay. And there is a person A. Okay. A is the account holder. Account holder in SDFC Bank. So what A did? A deposited some money. Because A has account, so A keeps on depositing money in the bank. Now A deposited money, then A gave a check, deposited a check with SDFC for payment. Okay. So who can give a check? Can someone randomly as B come and deposit a check with SDFC for encashment of money? No. So who can do? An account holder who has deposited money with the bank only can ask for a check. So addressed to whom? Addressed to the bank, signed by the person. Who's going to sign it? Signed by the person who has deposited money with the bank, requiring him to pay on demand a certain sum of money. Okay, whenever A demands, it's not like that SDFC can debit amount or give the cash to someone anytime. No, whenever A is demanding, on demand, whenever A is demanding a certain sum of money, the money also has to be mentioned clearly. A certain sum of money only to or to the order of certain person or to the bearer of the instrument. Whom to give? Everything should be specified. Okay, what all will be specified? Amount will be specified. How much has to be paid? Person has to be specified. To whom it has to be paid. Okay, bank clearly has to be notified about it. Date has to be given properly, right? So these things has to be clearly provided in the check to make it usable. Okay, so let's read the whole meaning once and understand what it is. Check is an instrument in writing containing an unconditional order. Okay, because this A is ordering SDFC to pay something. Order addressed to a banker signed by the person who has deposited money with the banker, requiring him to pay on demand a certain sum of money only to whom? To the order of certain person or bearer of the instrument.